Your Mazda dealership is not trying to keep your car healthy. It is trying to keep its revenue targets healthy, and most of the time, those two things are not the same goal. Mazda's own service bulletin explicitly calls dealership upsells unneeded expenses. That is the manufacturer telling you the dealership is overcharging you, in writing. Today, 15 of the worst offenders, and the last one is the one that ties every trick on this list together. Once you see it, every dealership visit changes forever. Let us get into it. Number 15, the free inspection that finds everything expensive. Your dealership calls you with news. They completed a complimentary multi-point inspection on your Mazda during your last oil change. They found several things that need attention. You think, free inspection. That sounds helpful, but here is what is actually happening. That inspection is not free at all. It is a sales tool designed to uncover things to sell you. The dealership writes down every single finding. Brake fluid is dark. Write it down. Cabin filter looks dusty. Write it down. Tires look worn. Write it down. Then they call you back with a list and make everything sound urgent. They tell you your brake fluid should be flushed immediately. They tell you your cabin filter is restricting airflow. They tell you your tire wear is something to think about. But here is what they do not mention. Your manual says brake fluid changes are due every 2 years. You are only at 1 year. Your cabin filter is due at 30,000 miles. You have 10,000 miles on the clock. Nothing on that list is actually urgent. What the dealership is doing is grouping several non-urgent items together and using concern for your car's health against you. The pitch sounds like this. We found a few things during your inspection that we should address while you're here today. It will only take a couple of hours and we can get you set for the next year. That sounds responsible. It is not. It is sales. What you should ask is, which of these items are actually urgent right now and which ones are just future planning? When you ask that directly, you will discover that almost nothing is urgent. The dealership just wants to do it all today because you're already there. Simply say, let us stick to what the owner's manual requires for now. That one response saves you $300 to $400 per visit, but the dealership has another trick ready, and this next one is the most profitable upsell in the entire building. One dealership location running this trick makes $84,000 extra per year from a single service. You need to hear this one. Number 14, fluid flushes at mileage intervals that do not exist. Your dealership tells you that your transmission fluid needs flushing. They are very confident. They tell you it is best practice. They tell you many Mazda owners are doing this. You check your manual. It says transmission fluid service at 60,000 miles. You have 30,000 miles. The dealership is cutting the recommended interval in half and charging you $350 for a service Mazda has not said you need yet. Think about that math. If they convince 20 cars per month to do this early, that is $7,000 in additional revenue every single month from one dealership on just this one upsell alone. But it gets worse. The dealership does not stop at transmission fluid. They push coolant flushes too. Your manual says 100,000 miles or 10 years. You might have 30,000 miles and 3 years of ownership. They also push engine oil flushes and tell you your engine has deposits that need a system cleaner. Here's the part that should make you angry. Mazda's own technical bulletin explicitly warns that engine oil flushes are unnecessary and can actually damage your piston rings. Mazda is telling dealerships not to do this service, but many still push it because most customers do not know any better. Mazda's exact words from their service bulletin: services performed outside of Mazda's factory scheduled maintenance are not recommended and create unneeded expenses. Those are Mazda's words, not mine. What you should ask is, what does my owner's manual say about this fluid? Can you show me the page? If they cannot point you to the manual, the service is not due. It is that simple. If this is already making your blood boil a little, hit that like button right now. You are not alone, and we are only at number 14. Number 13, brake services based on percentages that do not matter. You bring your Mazda in for an oil change. The technician completes the inspection and tells you your brake pads are at 40% wear. The service advisor shows you a paper with the numbers, 40% remaining. He makes it sound like you need to start budgeting for brakes immediately. Your car is not making any noise, no vibration. The brakes are working perfectly, but now you feel anxious. Should you replace them now? Are you being a bad car owner if you do not? This is exactly where the dealership wants you. 40% sounds low, but it actually means you have nearly half the life of your pads remaining. That is fine. That is normal. Your manual does not say replace brakes at 40%. It says inspect them and replace when worn thin, when they are making noise, when they are affecting your stopping power, not at 40%. Some dealerships go further. They will put your old pad next to a brand new pad and show you the visual comparison. It looks dramatic. Your pad looks almost gone, even though it is only halfway through its life. The reality is that brake pads at 40% have 10,000 to 15,000 miles of life remaining. What you should ask is the car pulling to one side? Is there any noise noise or vibration? Or is this just a preventive heads up? If the answer is just preventive, say, "Let me know when it hits 20% and we will replace them then." That one sentence ends the conversation, and what comes next is something that works on your emotions directly, because the dealership knows that guilt is one of the most powerful sales tools available, and number 12 is built entirely around making you feel like a bad parent. Number 12, air filters and cabin filters at the wrong time. The technician walks out holding your cabin air filter. It looks dark, it looks dusty. The service advisor holds it up and makes eye contact. He tells you this filter is really dirty and should be replaced today. He says it is affecting your air quality. He says your AC performance is suffering. He says your family is breathing restricted air. Your first instinct is guilt. You think about your family. You feel like you are failing as a car owner. That is the point. The dealership is deliberately using concern for your family's health to sell you a service you do not need yet. Your cabin air filter at 10,000 miles is doing exactly what it is supposed to do. Yes, it looks dirty. It has been filtering air for 10,000 miles. That is its job. The manual says replace it at 30,000 miles. You have another 20,000 miles of life remaining in that filter. The dealership is charging you $80 for a filter that costs $15 online and does not need replacing for another year. The same thing happens with engine air filters. They show you a dusty filter and tell you your engine is struggling, but a slightly dusty engine air filter is completely normal. Your engine is not struggling. What you should ask is, when does my manual say this filter needs replacement, and how many miles am I from that interval? If the answer puts you thousands of miles away from the scheduled service, decline confidently. Subscribe right now if you want to stop losing money on services like this every single week. And number 11 is the one that catches almost every Mazda owner at least once, because by the time you realize what happened, you have already handed over the money. Number 11, diagnostic fees that hold you hostage. You bring your Mazda in because something does not feel right. The service advisor tells you they need to run a diagnostic, $100 to scan the computer and identify the problem. This sounds reasonable. You need to know what is wrong. They run it, they find a code, they call you back, $800 to fix. Now you are stuck. You have already paid $100 just to find out what is wrong. You have to decide whether to approve the $800 repair or walk away and eat the diagnostic fee. The dealership is counting on that. They are banking on sunk cost thinking. You already spent $100, so you're more likely to approve the next $800. But here's what most dealerships will not tell you up front. Many will waive the diagnostic fee entirely if you proceed with their repair, but many will not. They keep that $100 even if you say no and go somewhere else. What you should ask before agreeing to any diagnostic is, if I decide to do the repair here, will you deduct the diagnostic fee from my final bill? If they say no, take your car to an independent shop. Many offer free diagnostics when you're considering their repair. You can also say you want to get a second quote. Watch how quickly the diagnostic fee policy becomes negotiable. And speaking of things the dealership does not want you shopping around, number 10 is going to show you exactly how much you're overpaying for parts you can get elsewhere for half the price, and your warranty is completely safe when you do it. Number 10, OEM parts that cost double for a logo. Your Mazda needs new brake pads. The dealership quotes $400, including labor. You look online and find quality pads for $150. The dealership makes it sound like using anything other than genuine Mazda parts is dangerous. They tell you aftermarket parts are cheaper for a reason. Here is what they do not want you to know. Federal law protects you. The Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act states that a dealership cannot void your warranty simply because you used an aftermarket part. They can only deny a specific warranty claim if they can prove the aftermarket part directly caused that failure. A cabin filter is a cabin filter. It filters air. An OEM Mazda filter and a quality aftermarket filter do the same job. The difference is the price. What you should ask is, what is the price difference between the OEM part and a quality aftermarket alternative? You can often save 50 to 70% by going aftermarket without touching your warranty coverage. You also have the right to bring your own parts and pay labor only. Many dealerships will refuse this, but some will agree if you ask calmly. And if a dealership ever tells you that using an independent shop voids your warranty, that brings us straight to the next number on this list, because that claim is not just misleading, it is illegal. Number 9, the warranty void threat that is not real. The service advisor leans toward you with a serious expression. If you do not do your service here, your warranty might be at risk. This is designed to scare you into staying as a captive customer, and it works on most people because they do not want to lose their warranty. But this statement is not true. The Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act is federal law. It protects consumers from exactly this kind of pressure. You can use an independent shop, you can use aftermarket parts, you can even do some maintenance yourself. Your warranty remains valid as long as you follow the maintenance schedule. Mazda's own documentation confirms this. Following the schedule is what matters, not where you do the service. What you should ask is, can you show me in the owner's manual where it says service must be done at a dealership? They will not be able to show you, because it does not say that anywhere. If they push back, calmly say, I will follow the maintenance schedule from the manual. I just plan to do some services at an independent shop. My warranty stays valid as long as I follow the schedule, correct? Most service advisors will back down immediately. The ones who do not are simply hoping you will not call them on it. Drop a comment right now if a dealership has ever used this warranty threat on you, because the next upsell is one that targets you emotionally in a very different way. Number 8, battery replacement. Pressure. Before it is necessary. The dealership completes a free battery health check. They show you a computer screen. The battery tested at 60% capacity. They tell you the battery is weakening. They recommend replacing it now before you get stranded. They have an OEM Mazda battery in stock. 30 minutes and you are back on the road. Your Mazda starts perfectly. You have had 0 battery issues. Nothing feels wrong. A battery at 60% capacity is not at emergency replacement stage. Your battery will tell you when it is actually failing. The engine will crank slowly. You will feel the starter motor laboring. You will know. The dealership is pushing replacement early because they make significant profit on batteries. An OEM Mazda battery at the dealership costs $250. The same battery is $100 online. That is $150 of pure profit on a single battery sale. What you should ask is, how old is this battery? Can I see the date code? Batteries last 3 to 5 years. Under 3 years old, it is probably fine. Over 5 years, fair enough to think about it. You can also get a completely free battery test at AutoZone, O'Reilly, or any auto parts store. You get the exact same information, no charge, no pressure. And if the dealership is willing to manufacture urgency around a battery, wait until you see what they do with tires. Number 7 is one of those recommendations that sounds completely logical until you realize there is no schedule behind it at all. Number 7, tire alignments at a mileage that does not exist. You come in for an oil change. The dealership calls you back and says your wheels need an alignment. They recommend doing it today while your car is already in the shop. You check your manual. There is no mention of wheel alignment at any specific mileage. That is because Mazda does not schedule alignment at a fixed mileage. The dealership invented that number to sell you a service that costs $150 to $200. Alignment is only needed when your car is pulling to one side when driving straight, when your tires are wearing unevenly, or after you have hit a pothole, curb, or been in an impact. If none of those things have happened, you do not need an alignment. What you should ask is my car pulling to one side? Are my tires wearing unevenly? If the answer is no to both, ask why an alignment is being recommended. A vague answer about preventive care is not a sufficient reason to spend $200. If this is your first time hearing some of these, hit the like button right now, because we are not even at the worst ones yet. And number 3 involves a Mazda technical bulletin that directly calls out this service as pointless. Number 6, tire rotation. Upsells bundled into routine. Visits, your Mazda's oil change is done. Before you leave, the service advisor tells you that while the car was on the lift, they noticed your tires could use a rotation. It is only $40. They can do it right now since the car is already up. This sounds harmless. $40 is not much, and tire rotation is real maintenance. Now here's the issue. Your manual likely says rotate tires every 10,000 miles. If you just rotated them 8,000 miles ago, you do not need one. The dealership is not checking the last rotation date. They are looking at the tires on the lift and using the opportunity to add $40 to your bill. Over time, these small additions compound. You might be rotating your tires every 6,000 miles instead of 10,000 simply because the dealership suggests it every time you come in. That is roughly $40 more per year than necessary. It is not a large amount individually, but it is the mindset. The dealership is trained to find something to add every single time, every visit, every car, every customer. What you should ask is, when did my record show the last tire rotation? If the dealership does not have that record and you are not sure yourself, keep a simple note in your glove box with the date and mileage of your last rotation on a service you just paid for 3 months ago. If small repeated charges like this bother you, hit that like button right now, because number 5 is where the dealership gets sneaky, turning a free service into a sales pipeline every single visit. Number 5, battery testing and upsells. Disguised as free services. This one connects to number 8 but deserves its own mention because the tactic is different. The dealership does not just test your battery when you bring a complaint, they test it during every single oil change visit as part of the multi-point inspection, and the result is almost always worded in a way that creates concern. They will show you a printed report. the battery is at 70%, or 65%, or whatever number falls below the threshold they use to trigger a sales conversation. The problem is that battery health tests are not perfectly reliable at predicting actual failure. A battery testing at 65% can continue working perfectly for another 1 to 2 years. A battery testing at 90% can fail the following week. The test gives the dealership a number. The number gives them a conversation. The conversation gives them a sale. What you should know is that battery replacement should be driven by actual symptoms, not by a percentage on a printout. Slow cranking, electrical issues, difficulty starting in cold weather, those are real signals. A computer percentage is not. If you are not experiencing symptoms and your battery is under 4 years old, you almost certainly do not need a replacement. Take the information. Go home. Monitor for actual symptoms. That is the right approach. And number 4 is even more direct, because Mazda has written down in black and white exactly why this next service is a waste of your money. Their words, not mine. Number 4, fuel system. Cleaning that does not work. The service advisor pitches you a fuel induction service. He tells you your injectors need cleaning. He says it will improve fuel economy and restore performance. He makes it sound like your engine is quietly suffering. Here's exactly what Mazda's own technical bulletin says about this. Cleaning fuel injectors without an actual power-related complaint does not improve engine performance or fuel economy. Mazda is directly telling you this service is unnecessary unless you have a real complaint. Your engine is running normally, no rough idling, no hesitation, no power loss, nothing is wrong. But the dealership is about to charge you $150 to $250 for a service that will change absolutely nothing. What you should ask is, am I experiencing any symptoms of injector issues? Rough idle? Poor fuel economy? Hesitation on acceleration? If the answer is no, that is your answer. If you ever do want to clean your fuel system, a $15 bottle of fuel system cleaner added to your gas tank does the same job. The dealership would like you not to know that. And if you have been paying for that service regularly, drop a comment below because you are not alone. Number 3 is the one that uses time pressure to get you, and it works on a lot of people. Number 3, rust proofing and paint protection. You do not need. The dealership tells you about a special promotion. Undercoat rust proofing, normally $400, but on sale this week for $320. They tell you that if you live anywhere with winter salt on the roads, you need this. They make it sound like your car will rust from the underside without it. This is a sales tactic. Modern Mazda vehicles come with corrosion protection built into the manufacturing process. Mazda does not recommend aftermarket rust proofing as a maintenance item. Your warranty does not require it. Your car is not going to rust because you declined a $400 add-on at the dealership. The same pressure happens with ceramic paint coatings. $300 to $500 to keep your paint protected and glossy. You do not need it. Washing your car regularly and using a good wax a couple of times a year does the same job. These are optional add-ons. Treat them like accessories. If you genuinely want them, independent detailing shops offer the same services for a fraction of the dealership price. But you do not actually need them. Your car will be completely fine without either one. And number 2 is the section where we put everything together. These next services have something in common that explains why dealerships keep pushing them even when Mazda says not to. Number 2, services the dealership invented to sell you power. Steering system flush, differential service, radiator coolant exchange, fuel injector additive package, engine deposit cleaning treatment. Your service advisor recommends these with complete confidence. He makes them sound essential. He talks about the health of your engine and the long-term reliability of your car. None of these are in your owner's manual maintenance schedule. Not one of them. Mazda's service bulletin addresses this directly. Services performed outside of Mazda's factory scheduled maintenance are not recommended and create unneeded expenses. The dealership is recommending services that Mazda itself says are unnecessary. They are trained to add these to increase revenue. They know most customers trust their expertise and will not check the manual. What you should ask every single time is this service listed in my owner's manual maintenance schedule? Can you show me the page? If they cannot show you the page, you do not need the service. Apply that question to every recommendation and you will save hundreds of dollars every year. Because number 1 is not a specific service. It is the mindset behind every single thing on this list. And understanding it changes every dealership visit you will ever have from this point forward. Number 1, paying for urgency. That does not exist. Here is the one that ties all of the others together. And it is the most expensive mistake Mazda owners make. They pay for urgency that was created by the dealership, not by the car. Every tactic on this list has one thing in common. The dealership creates a sense of urgency where none exists. The battery at 60%, the brake pads at 40%, the cabin filter that looks dusty. the transmission fluid at 30,000 miles when the manual says 60, the rust proofing that is on sale this week only. All of that urgency is manufactured. Your car is fine. The situation is not urgent. The dealership is just very skilled at making it feel that way. The antidote is one sentence. Every time a dealership recommends something, ask, is this in my owner's manual maintenance schedule? If it is, do it when the schedule says, not earlier, not at the dealership's suggested interval. If it is not in the manual, decline it. You have Mazda's own words behind you. They said it themselves. Services outside the factory schedule create. Use that. Every single visit, your wallet will thank you for the next 200,000 miles. Drop a comment telling me which of these you have already paid for. I genuinely want to know which one hits closest to home, and there is another video on your screen right now that every Mazda owner needs to see before their next service appointment. Click it, I will meet you there.